Okay, for this session, if you look at the title that I've given you, I'm going to talk about greatness. Okay, being great. All right, do you want to be great? But it's not making America great again, that kind of greatness. Okay, you've heard enough of that. I'm going to talk about greatness in a different way, in a different sense. It's greatness against the yearning of the flesh. But a different kind of greatness, not the kind of greatness where the human nature desire, that kind of superiority that we want so that we can look down on others, so that we can be better, and give us a sense of self-glorification. Not that kind of greatness. Now, I'm a shepherd of young people, and I myself being young, all right, still young. Now, you see, we are an indifferent lot, relatively. We young people, indifferent, individual. It's something we are born with. We're influenced by this big environment that we're living in. Because we are born in this internet age, we know things, we're capable of doing things, but our capacity is not there. So even though we are indifferent, but somehow or rather, I felt as young people, we need a lot of recognition and affirmation, sometimes more than we deserve. And for that matter, we are often seen as a generation that is emotional, fragile, and confused, that kind of thing. And I always have older generation people telling me, Pastor Vincent, I have problem working with people born in the 90s. You know why? These people, they cannot stand criticism. They cannot stand bluntness. If I'm going to point out their mistakes so forthcomingly, they're not going to come to work tomorrow. They'll just give everything up. It's that kind of nature in us, young people. So these young people, some people say we need a lot of massage of our ego, of our emotions, and we need sometimes too much attention and affirmation. So when I shepherd young people, yes, I realize that we need to be very, very understood. And we want our voice heard. We want to be useful, even though at times we ourselves are not so sure about what we are saying, what we are advocating. Now, that's the fact. Young people, because of this big environment that we are born in, when we grow up there, we're influenced by our peers and all, you see. And I also work with very broken and fragile people. And then I recognize the flaws that we all have. But let's not restrict this to the younger generation. All right? As with this topic on greatness is about. So listen carefully what I'm going to say here. I'm going to start by saying that we as human beings, we all love to be great. Okay? We all love to be great. It's something we are born with, inherent in us. Now, some of you might say, Pastor Vincent, I'm not the ambitious type. I'm not the hungry for success type. Yes, personality-wise, you are not those kind of people. But you don't wish to be small either. Am I right? You don't wish to be disregarded, not given attention to. So inherently, we all want to be great. And why is it so? The answer is because we are all created for greatness. We were bestowed with the promise of God to rule, to multiply, to manage this whole earth and all, so that we magnify the glorious image of God, His wisdom, His love, and righteousness in managing, ruling over everything that God has created. You see, greatness in us. And if you see, we human beings, we are such unique beings. We can innovate. We recreate things, That's why you see all this advancement of science, technology. You see, it's just no limits for the human mind and all. And say, for instance, when someone think about, being on the other side of the globe. I want to go there, right there. Where is that place? And then as the human mind start to think about these things and dream about that, one day he invented the aeroplane. You see, when a human, they think of, no, I want to be at the side of the other globe, at the same time knowing things real time. Okay, when a human mind, now, strangely, amazingly, put our will and our mind there, we created the internet. You realize that? And we created the internet, and there's just no limit. We start to know information, things all around the world at the same time. Singapore, America, China, same time we know things. You see, so we are created to recreate and innovate things constantly. But for what? To reflect the magnificent glory of God, His wisdom, His infinity, That's what we are created for. And even the angels who serve us, they're really envious of this attribute that God put in us. This kind of greatness, this kind of privilege that God has put in us. So when we come to the subject of greatness, listen carefully, people. Now, let us agree that it is something inherent in us. It is what we are born with, this inclination, this tendency to be great. And it is also what the Lord wants us to have. Amen? The Lord wants us to have this desire for greatness. But, hold it. What I'm saying here, if you think that, no, Pastor Vincent, your desire, human desire for greatness can cause differences, comparisons, and all these things, they are unwanted, selfish ambition, desire, all those things. Now, these are caused by sin. Okay, you got to know the truth accurately. Okay, it's not the desire for greatness, it's that sin. The problem is with sin. It's sin that corrupts and perverts this yearning for greatness. It is sin in us that makes us desire greatness for the sake of superiority, for self-glorification. And when we become great, we use it to oppress the weak, look down on others, just to show that we are better and all. So by that, it is sin that corrupts the yearning for the pure greatness that God has given us. It is sin that caused the ugly competition in our society and all, even among the people of God, and even among churches. All right, do you get me? So I am here today to tell you, I'm not telling you to be small, as with this message. If you think Pastor Vincent is telling us to be small, now I'm telling you to be great, but in the eyes of God. Young people, all right? Great in the eyes of God. I want you to be set apart in your thinking, in your feelings, but setting apart doesn't mean you don't push yourself to achieve what God has given you. So, as with experiencing the gospel, it is not about suppressing your natural inclination, suppressing it, don't want to be great, it causes selfish ambitions, No, you have to learn the truth to be sanctified in such a way so that you show your dynamism, you show your liveliness, you show your creativity as young people. All right? Show it. Brothers, show your courage and your creativity. And sisters, show your wisdom and your beauty, so that you magnify the glory of God. All right?